We all know that you really can't judge a video game until you've gotten your hands on it. But that doesn't stop us from seeing trailers or announcements about games and getting really excited about the potential. From unique concepts to new games from well-respected developers, in today's video I'm going to break down a few upcoming games that are loaded with potential, at least from what we know so far. And just a heads up before we get into it, I'm not going to be talking at all about Grand Theft Auto 6. Not that it's not something to be excited about, but it's not the only game that has potential that's coming up soon. So I want to turn that focus in this video at least a little bit away from Grand Theft Auto 6. Also, I'm going to be including in the description links about each of these games so that you have that information if you feel like you want to start diving into the game a little bit more. I think that's everything. Let's get into it. Up first is Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is an upcoming action and adventure open world game that's set in a medieval fantasy world. It follows the leader of a mercenary band as he navigates a continent that is scarred by war and political turmoil. The game looks to combine intense boss fights with fantastical questing, all set to the backdrop of a really massive open world. And what interests me most about this game is how role-playing will work, because it's been reported by IGN that the developers have claimed that the player's activities in the world are what will really facilitate the role-playing rather than what we might expect from an RPG, those explicit decision-making moments. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out and how it will impact replayability. From what's been reported, the game is going to be packed with content, activities, and quests, all of which can be engaged in by the player, as well as an overall narrative relating to the protagonist's personal focus. To be honest, sometimes when I read about the layers of this game, the amount of content that is planned for this game, I almost feel like it sounds too good to be true. And with a release date of March 19th, 2026, it's looking like we aren't going to have to wait too long to get our hands on this game and see exactly what is there for ourselves. Next up is the Bustling World. Now here is a game that seems incredibly ambitious. The Bustling World is an open world role-playing game set in a fictionalized version of ancient China. The Steam description of the game indicates that you'll be able to choose how you want to live your life with a large amount of detail. Work hard, farming and trading to support yourself and your family, or embark on adventures and quests full of combat and mysteries. Political systems, economies, and relationships all appear to play a key role in your story. It sounds like a life simulator with economic systems, building, and a massive amount of room for storytelling, allowing you to pursue numerous different paths throughout your life. I'll also mention, from the trailers available on Steam, the graphical style of the game looks very colorful while also being grounded with lots of reds and browns and very pretty lighting. Especially at nighttime, there are examples of lanterns glowing at night and it looks really cool. Unfortunately, we don't yet have any information about a release date, but this is absolutely a game I plan to keep following and I'm really hoping that I can try it someday soon. Next up is Traveling at Night. Traveling at Night is a CRPG set in a fictionalized version of 1948 Europe. You will play as a character who is navigating this world, and the developers have confirmed that this character will have customizable skills, a customizable career background, and passions that will impact the narrative. According to the game's Steam page, it is a quote, dialogue-driven, choices matter, combat-free CRPG in the tradition of isometric greats like Disco Elysium, Planescape Torment, and Fallout 1 and 2, unquote. I mean, to me, that sounds really, really good. And from the media of the game that's been shown, it really looks like it's planned to include very extensive dialogue. How your background and skills tie into the dialogue and story will be really interesting to see, and it certainly sounds very promising. The background of a lengthy Cold War, along with your character's own past, sets this up to be a really interesting story to explore. I'm very curious about this game, and I hope that we'll get some updates on it soon, as we do not yet have information about when this game will be released. Next up is kind of an obvious one, Blackfrost: The Long Dark 2. I'm a huge fan of The Long Dark. I think it's an excellent survival sandbox game, and I'm so curious to see where the developers will take this sequel. Based on a dev statement from December 2024, it sounds like Blackfrost is intended to build on The Long Dark and add content that they couldn't necessarily include originally. It looks like it's going to bring new maps, new dangers, and other survivors into the mix. All of these are things that could really shake up the game and add new dynamics to it. It also looks like we can expect some graphical differences in Blackfrost, though the screenshots that have been shared definitely maintain a similar style to the Long Dark. They also look a bit more realistic and detailed, at least in my opinion, with much more noticeably dramatic lighting. Overall, I'm really curious to see the direction that they take this game. With how beloved the Long Dark has really become, it will be interesting to see what they keep and what they exclude from the original when they're making Blackfrost. According to Steam, the game will launch in early access in 2026, and I really like this idea because the Long Dark also launched in early access, and it was really cool to watch the game change over the years and be a part of that process. I'm excited to hopefully experience that again and relatively soon. Next on my list is Nivalis. Nivalis is a life simulation game set in a large cyberpunk city. You'll navigate the dangers of a cyberpunk city such as gangs, corporations, all while grinding to make a name for yourself and choosing how you want your future to look. You can build up a small business, get into running nightclubs, and build relationships as you go, all while living day to day in a large cyberpunk city. Honestly, I'm a sucker for life simulation games, and I really don't know of many with a cyberpunk setting, so the combination of the two has definitely got my attention. The planned release date listed for Nivalis is 2026, at least according to Steam, so hopefully we will be able to get our hands on this game pretty soon. Next on the list is the Blood of Dawnwalker. Developed by a team that includes several former Witcher 3 devs, the Blood of Dawnwalker is a fantasy action RPG with vampires. Set in 14th century Europe, the game follows Cohen, who is a Dawnwalker, a human during the day and a vampire at night. This means you'll get to have the best of both worlds, a squishy human to hold conversations without terrifying people, and an ultra powerful vampire to take on enemies in very dramatic combat. The plot reportedly revolves around you needing to save your family and having a limited time to do so, which will be reflected by the game and the game's day and night cycle. The world of the game looks dark and mysterious, with dangers around every corner, and the potential to take on such a serious and daunting quest in that world sounds like a really good time. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of vampires in general, but video games tend to make vampire combat really fun, so I'm all down for that. We do not have a release date yet, but according to an article from IGN, the game is expected to release on PC and consoles in 2026. Next, we have Grave Seasons. Did you ever feel like Stardew Valley was great, except that it was missing a supernatural serial killer? In all seriousness, this is a very simplistic way for me to basically describe Grave Seasons. Grave Seasons is a seemingly cozy narrative farming simulator that has a scary twist, the whole supernatural serial killer thing that I mentioned. You'll play as a stranger who's new to a small farming town. It's a familiar story and it sticks relatively close to what you'd expect, tasking you with farming and exploring until darker, more disturbing things start to happen. I'm a fan of farming sims and a fan of horror games, at least when I'm brave enough to play them. So a game that combines the two is very interesting to me. On top of that, the graphics are very colorful, cartoony, and lighthearted, which I think is a really fun juxtaposition to all of the more intense content that sounds like it's going to be present in the game. We do not yet have a scheduled release date for this game, but the developer's website indicates that the game will launch on PC and consoles in 2026. Next up is The Expanse Osiris Reborn. The Expanse Osiris Reborn is a third-person action RPG set in the universe of the science fiction series The Expanse. I've honestly never been a huge fan of The Expanse series. I could never really get into the show, but I know that the universe of The Expanse could provide a really interesting setting for a role-playing game. In all honesty, I'm always here for a science fiction third-person action RPG, so already this game was destined to have my attention. And on top of the interesting premise of the game, it is being developed by Owlcat Games, who are the devs behind excellent RPGs like Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. That makes me feel like there is definitely a lot of potential for this game to have some really solid RPG mechanics and good storytelling. There is definitely quite a bit of excitement that is building around this game. Sadly, we will have to be patient though because we do not have a release date yet. Next up is Light No Fire. Light No Fire is the newest game from Hello Games, the developers behind No Man's Sky. And look, despite the way that game initially released, you can't deny that it's really evolved since then, and that the team has put in a ton of work to make it a really solid open galaxy survival and exploration game. And just like No Man's Sky, Light No Fire looks very ambitious. It's described as an adventure, survival, building, and exploration game set on a large fantasy planet. If you see a mountain in the distance, allegedly you'll be able to go climb it. The game is also being advertised as being set in a multiplayer planet, allowing you to encounter other players and work together to survive if you want to. The world appears to be a combination of science fiction and fantasy, with the trailer prominently showing characters flying around on dragon-like creatures. It will be really interesting to see how all of this comes together. There's still a lot to learn as we get closer to a release with this game, but from what we've been shown so far, it seems very promising. We do not yet have a release date set for this game, but it is certainly one to keep an eye on. Up next is Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet is the next game, at least that we know of, that Naughty Dog is working on. Now, I'm a huge fan of Naughty Dog games. The Last of Us series and Uncharted games are my jam all the way, 100%. They are developers who are well known for their storytelling, high-speed action gameplay, and extremely immersive worlds. So the idea of them creating a whole new franchise is definitely exciting. And with Intergalactic, it looks like Naughty Dog is stepping into a science fiction setting, with the story of the game confirmed to follow a bounty hunter who becomes stranded on a mysterious and dangerous planet. There hasn't been a ton of information revealed about the game yet, but from the announcement trailer that has been released, I'm excited. The game definitely looks like it draws from some classic sci-fi themes, with the music and ship design and the characters that we meet already seem really interesting. It's probably going to be quite a while before we actually get our hands on this game. From what I've seen, maybe 2027, but probably 2028. But knowing Naughty Dog's history, I think there's a good chance that it's going to be worth the wait. Next, let's talk about Exodus. Exodus is an upcoming third-person science fiction role-playing game coming from a studio founded by several former members of BioWare. From what we know so far, the game will have branching storylines with player choice that impacts the narrative. The game is set many years in the future, where it sounds like the fate of humans has taken many turns, and a large part of your role is fighting back against a group known as the Celestials. The developers are regularly updating players about the status of the game and drip-feeding information about characters, locations, and lore, so I'd encourage you to check their website for more information and updates if you're interested in this game. We will be expecting this game on consoles and PC in 2027. Finally, we have the Wayward Realms, a single-player open-world fantasy RPG from some of the original Elder Scrolls developers. Now that definitely sounds promising. The world as we've seen it so far looks large and really varied, with sunny coastal areas, mountainous regions, and dark tombs. And the game is described by devs as being intended to take choice and consequences to a whole new level, mixing complex and dynamic factions and relationships and in-depth class and combat systems, all aimed to make the game deep and unique for players. That ideology, combined with what we've seen of the world, definitely builds my anticipation of this game. We don't yet have a release date, but it did successfully complete a Kickstarter campaign that was intended to fund development of an early access build, so it's likely that the game will take an early access route prior to full release. So there you have it. Those are a few of my picks of some upcoming games that appear to have a lot of potential based on what we know so far. Did any of these games stand out to you? Also, are there any games that I didn't include that you feel like have a lot of potential that you're looking forward to? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.